Out of the SIFT, I'm going to walk everybody through each section. It's fresh in my brain, and I wanted to just give each section, because I'm going to give the information that I wanted to hear before when I was like researching it online. So the first section is 100 questions in 2 minutes, and it's, so you do the math there. I mean, like, you got to be bang, 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 bang. It'll have like 5 images. One will be a circle, the rest are triangles, and you just click on the circle, move to the next question. They're a little bit more complex than that, but that's pretty much it. The next section of the test is hidden figures. That'll be like a box where there'll be like 20 different shapes in the box, all overlapping, and you'll have 5 options, and you have to select which of the shapes is hidden in the box. It's pretty complex. There's 50 of those. I got to 21 if I remembered correctly. I mean, it was a blur, to be honest, but so that's kind of normal though. I feel like 25 is probably the average that people make it to. I don't know. I could have done a little bit. If I had to give myself a tip, do it again. Watch the time early on that one, so you kind of just like, if you're struggling with one, because you're gonna have, if you can make the judgment call where you're like, I'm going to struggle with this one, boom, go to the next one, because you may be able to get a few more in there. At the end of the day, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think that section is made so you don't complete it, and they just want to see you, get discouraged, or I don't know. I'm sure there's some psychology behind it. Next section is the Army Aviation Knowledge. For that, I got 2 study guides here, okay? One of them's Trivium, the other one just says SIFT. I got them off Amazon. I read both those front to back. Definitely on the Army Aviation, I took notes extensively and studied really hard from those 2 study guides. And I also downloaded the FAA Army Rotary Handbook, printed it out at a print shop, spent way too much money doing that. I don't know why I did that, but I read about 70% of it. I probably took notes on like 40% of it. It helped contribute to the knowledge that I needed, and it all kind of ties together anyway. As you can kind of tell, like, when you're in the mechanical section, you'll get a question on a topic that you literally read about because you were reading through your Army Aviation Knowledge. So, and that happened to me. I got a question right, I assume, because of that. So anyway, that is, I think, 30 or 40 questions. Just study your ass off for that. Take as many notes as you possibly can. Take all the practice tests. And then, so you get practice tests, right? And it'll give you 5 options. For every one of those options, you should be able to define every option. So, it's a practice exam. Yes, you want to get the answer right, but you should be able to take each concept from every, multiple choice answer and be able to speak to that. That's how you can kind of learn everything, because they're going to try to give you in those study guide a consummate, overarching coverage of every subject with all of those answers. So you need to kind of understand that, I tell you, I did 2 study guides, 2 practice exams. They were hardly any questions from those were on the exam. It's just piecing it all together. But that is how I did it and found success. After that, it's Spatial Apperception. Oh my God, the homeless vibe there. That's chocolate from a croissant that I ate at like 05 this morning, in the dark. So I had coffee too. That's why I'm coughing like that. So Spatial Apperception, you need to just go to the practice exam. Look at they give you this is how you should perceive these images, and you'll learn how to look at your attitude based on the horizon and terrain around you, and know whether you're climbing in a right bank or in a dive at a left bank, and if you're heading towards the ocean or land, or that sort of thing. That one is not hard. You should definitely you should max that score out on that one by running through that a couple times. Next is reading comprehension. I have no idea how I did on that. My brain was malfunctioning for the last 5 of those questions. I have a real problem. I don't know if you have this problem too, but I have a real problem where if I read something and I have life experience in that subject, so like one was operational risk management, the other was on the job training, like, I mean, I've been inundated with those acronyms and those theories and concepts for a long time, man. So I start reading this paragraph. You have to take what the paragraph says as a scientific fact and think no further into it. But I just have all these thoughts pop into my brain like, oh, I remember doing OJT to, get this certification and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, that has nothing to do with what you're doing here, Mike. Back on task. So I guess that would be my one tip there. I think reading comp was actually easier on the SIFT test than it was in the study guide. So if you do the study guides, you'll be well prepared, and it's a perfect level of preparation. I would guess. I don't know how you could fucking ever improve on reading comp. To be honest, I think it's a very frustrating portion to me, but I'm glad it's there because it probably boosted my score. Math. I graduated from the business school at IU. That's what a lot of my other content on here is about. And I thought, oh, I'm solid on math. I took calculus, I took finite, B's, solid, got it. Dude, I didn't look at math at all. And let me tell you, that exam is not calc, it's not finite. There is some probability stuff in there, but turns out I don't remember any of that, any of it. And I definitely don't remember Algebra 2 from high school, so guess what I remembered? Nothing. And guess what my math section was? All heart, all effort, all grit. Just pulling out whatever, if it was like a percentage or a ratio or some weird way of getting to an answer in my brain, I was trying it. I darn sure wasn't trying to, I couldn't even what is it, like distribute factors or like distribute variables with exponents. Like, I forget the terms, but you know what I'm saying? Like the simple, so easy. I couldn't even do it. I was like, God. So brush up on your Algebra 2. I would spend, a solid, it just depends where you're at, man. I don't know. Like I said, I got a 63, but I do feel like I was able to scrounge some points in the math, but I really, honestly should have put way more effort into the math. In the mechanical comp. Trivium, that Trivium book I have over here, their mechanical comp section is not detailed enough. Their mechanical comp is very base level. Only basic concepts are covered in there. And then the that other red one I had there, that was excessive. So the test was somewhere in between these two. I don't have a good study source for the mechanical comp portion, but I will say you need to work on that. You need to look at pressure, and just give me a second, I'll be able to recall it. Like all these concepts of simple machines, pulleys, mechanical advantage, thrust, acceleration, friction, stuff like that. Like you need to know the equations for that stuff, know how things react when these forces are applied on them. Like you need to have an understanding of that. It's once you find a place to look for some of that information, it comes pretty easy. It's not hard. To me, the hard part was research and finding the information. So if there's a resource out there, comment it below. That's my experience with the SIFT. I probably, if I was going to recommend an amount of time to study to you, I would recommend you spend 4 weeks. I would spend, 4 days doing mechanical comp here and there, 4 days doing math here and there, And like, I didn't know, I don't know how many people are walking around with Army rotary wing aviation knowledge, unless that's a family thing or whatever. But like that's like 200 pages of information potentially that you're learning there. So you're gonna need some time, but I would say a solid month would get you to an above average score. Put in the work, believe in yourself when you're putting it in. There are many nights where kids are asleep, I'm alone, I'm by myself like a lunatic looking at the manual. I almost said NATOPS for my Marine Corps days, crewing helicopters. It's Army Rotary Wing Handbook, FAA. So you're gonna do great though. If you're watching this video, if you're still with me at 10 minutes and 52 seconds, or I guess I added some in the beginning, but you're gonna do really well. That you're still here and that you care enough to get this perspective. I hope it makes you feel better. That test is made to make you think like you're not doing well, and rightfully so. I mean, I was bombing the math portion, obviously. So when I came out of that, I said, I may not even get a 40. I may literally bomb this thing and I am up the creek. And, so you're going to have those thoughts, like just keep the faith. Keep the faith when you're studying. Keep the faith when you're taking the test. You're putting in the work. It'll pay off. Go get them. And thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments. I will for sure answer them. I have my notifications. They're always on. I am addicted to the notifications. So hit me up, dude. I would love to chat. Peace.